Hey, 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 hey. So, on my way to the gym, and I thought I was going to talk about something that was truly inspiring the other day, and it's something that it's it's like this man just reached into the universe and sorry, he reached into the universe and connected with me on a level that just wow. His name is Adam Bien, I think. If you want to go and watch his tech talk, it's the Devox Tech Talk in Poland, where he talks about, I think I can't remember what the name is now. It's like I have it in like one of my liked videos, and in essence he touches on something that is very much what my opinion is about. So he talks about code that is boring, and his argument, and I don't know if he does it intentionally, but I thought he was so hilarious, because he really does sell the idea that, oh, this is so trivial, it's so boring, but what the good part about doing boring old Java Enterprise or Enterprise Java is that it's stable as all hell, according to him. And I agree. So he shows basically how he implements a servlet, in essence a servlet, and he says, well, this is microservices. And I'm like, yes, he is actually right. All it is just a Java object with some annotations, and it's going to be working exactly as you would expect like a microservice would. You can connect that to a queue, or you can connect it to like whatever. I mean, that's a microservice. It's a single Java POJO. And I'm not going to tell you too much about it. I would rather see that you went and watched it, because trust me, he spoke to me in a way that I really sold this idea, because this is very much what I've been saying about, knowing when to use React, when to use vanilla JavaScript, like actually understanding that there is such a thing as overcomplicating something. And his mantra through the whole talk is virtually that, no migration needed. There's no migration needed. Oh, I'm sorry for my very, very stereotypical attempt to have a Balkan accent. Sorry, but he that's basically no migration projects. This is very boring stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you are so right. But at the same time, he keeps on saying that. But this is less. It's more boring, which is equal to more stable, which is equal to more sleep, which is equal to more fun. And it's exactly what I've been saying. Like, he's showing that a lot of the standards, like the problems we're trying to solve yet again, have actually had their solutions for quite a while. So maybe it's on the topic of microservices, what I'm trying to kind of say with that's why I hype Elixir and so forth, is that maybe microservices for most people, you're trying to use it to solve a problem that you don't really have. And for some people, yet the argument is that, oh, it makes it scalable and like spaghetti code avoidance and all that stuff. And I keep saying that, yeah, that is true, but avoiding spaghetti code sounds to me like you're using the wrong pattern to solve a problem. And in essence, that's not great. Well, I don't think so anyway. I'm not saying that microservice is bad, I'm just saying that, think about it. And he sells this idea very well. And then he goes over to the front end, and he makes and this is where he kind of comes in and, does classes and Java. I keep an open mind. He does a very Java-ish pattern of writing JavaScript, which is fine. Like, he's showing how to do object-oriented programming, and like he does a fairly trivial application overall, but it illustrates a very good point as well. Like, he touches on these exact things that I've been trying to say, that you don't need React or Angular or anything like that if you're just making a web application. The standards are so good that they're pretty much going to do the same thing. It's what I've been saying about jQuery, that jQuery isn't relevant anymore. It's just like the most of the stuff is already now supported in a very nice way in the browser APIs. Same thing with, like, he actually says the exact same thing I've been saying, that you don't need React or all that fancy stuff. Like, you can use a Webpack, which is like just gonna if you know how to write vanilla JavaScript and you know that you can build this thing in vanilla JavaScript, Webpack will basically future-proof your entire application. And then he talks about like polyfills, to make it compatible going forward. And all of this makes, to me, complete sense, because he's proving that there is a way to do all of this in a very boring or stable, if you will, way, without having to add all this fancy stuff on top. And then he shows that he uses browser sync, for example, which I think is pretty cool, considering like he's a pretty he seems to be a very die-hard Java developer. And I mean, the Java developers I talk to very rarely use anything that's outside of Java, or it seems that way. It's not that often you see people using these things, but his talk makes a lot of sense. And it brings me back to the point that I'm trying to make, which is that you can absolutely get into like trying to use the newest frameworks and all that stuff, and it's great that you try new stuff, but try to think about things more, like try to think about what it is you're building, for the purpose, what's the purpose of building something. I mean, over-engineering things or applying tools to a problem just because you don't want to be bored at work, or that you want to try a new framework or something like that, that to me feels like the wrong way to approach a problem. It's the same type of problem I see when I did the code test a while back, where I saw somebody they implemented their own monad in JavaScript and put it in the code, and to me that's the same problem. If you put a monad into a code base, like arbitrarily in two places in the entire code, that's just you trying to be fancy. There's no benefit to what you're doing. You're just adding more complexity. And I mean, I've been accused of over-engineering as well, and I think we all need to kind of help each other to see when the spark in our eyes, or the desire to be good engineers and do like extra cool stuff, when that hits us, we all need to collectively have responsibility to stop each other and say, hey, are you really sure that this is needed? Because remember my golden rule, simpler is always better.